It's a sex podcast. Come on. Like, I mean,
We did already foreplay.
yeah, foreplay done. Okay. Hi, everyone. It's Sarah, and you're listening to Better in Bed, the podcast where we talk about sex and inspire you to get better at it. So it's a new year and we've got tons of sexy stuff coming your way. So if you want to stay on top of what we're doing and what we've got planned for you, then follow us on social media. I'm at Hello Sarah Sense on Instagram and Facebook, and Jai, my co-host and producer, is Double Star Co. Drop us a line, say hello, email us if you want to at sarahsense.com. We love to hear from you there too. And seriously, just make it a New Year's resolution, guys. Like, take charge of your sex life, okay? Listen to more sexy podcasts like ours. Get your brain in the game. Understand your body. Write us a review even. We need these, right? So do your part. Do it for 2018. So I love that all of us went to the gym before actually recording this podcast today, because today's topic is getting fit for the bedroom. So I've called it Sexercise because I think there is a very clear link between sex and exercise that people don't really know about. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. And I actually think it's obviously very fitting for this time of the year because lots of people are on dry jans and we're all highly motivated to go to the gym more and, you know, drink less and eat healthier. And maybe some of you actually also have some sexy resolutions. So maybe some of you have said that I want to date more, or I want to be a better lover, or I want to get a boyfriend or a girlfriend this year.
Or both.
Or both. And you know what? They're kind of related. Going to the gym, getting a boyfriend or girlfriend, who knew? So I'm going to hand over to Jai today to introduce our guest and talk about how all of this stuff is related and linked together.
Thank you so much. I'm nervous again. It's the second time I have to carry the flag this time. But I'm actually really excited to welcome our second male guest to the show.
Yay!
Mac Pajewski, also known
Should
as
give
Mac
you an award. Second male guest.
little tokens. Who's not only a friend of mine who I met during some grueling PT, but also spends a lot of time with me talking about health and technology. So welcome, Mac.
Welcome. Hello, guys.
How
Hi,
are
Jai.
you? You good?
Good.
You've just come from the gym as well?
Yes.
Good.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So you're accomplished in so many different fields. You've done everything from architecture and engineering to personal fitness to modeling to entrepreneurship to consulting on boards. And I know you're not going to say any of this yourself because you're far too modest. But why don't you tell us a little more about your history, kind of, you know, where did you grow up? How did you learn what you do? And, you know, what kind of keeps motivating you to go further?
So I was born in Poland. When Poland was still a communistic country.
Okay.
Which year? It's a secret. Yeah, just Google. You can find out when I was born.
That makes you
Yes.
30, 40, 30 something.
Yes.
Somewhere in there.
Some of them. It's just a number.
Okay.
It's just a number.
Okay.
So I was born in Poland. I grew up in Poland and then finished my education, first education over there. And on the end of my college, my second college degree, I moved to US. Lived there for 13 years.
Fantastic.
Grew up there, learning a lot about sex also.
Were these your formative sex years, you'd say?
No, they start in Poland.
Oh, okay.
They start in
Okay.
Poland.
Yeah, but you moved to LA though, right? And
Yeah,
LA,
I moved to Orange County, LA areas.
There's some very sexy
yes,
people
New
in
York,
Ooh.
Las Vegas,
LA. Yeah, nice.
Texas.
Texas.
I'm just seeing this map with like Mac appearing everywhere all over it.
Yeah, and then a couple of years ago, I made a decision to cash out, sold my business, and move full time to Asia and deliver health and fitness ideas to this market.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
So it's January. Are people coming to you with many New Year's resolutions?
Yes.
Actually, I think I came to you with some New Year's resolutions, so I can definitely count myself in that. And I think a lot about that is to do with fitness, but also kind of changing of lifestyle. And, you know, I've been speaking to a few people on kind of what those New Year's resolutions might be, how to keep them. But what's kind of your surefire advice to most people?
Just do it. Just show up. Just put one step up front, and don't overwhelm yourself with a lot of responsibilities. Just put one responsibility at a time. If this can be, for example, just walk to the office, not just take a one station of MTR, and just do it.
Yeah.
Because in MTR, this is in Hong Kong type of transportation, the train.
Yeah.
Just one thing at a time. So if you can increase your water intake, if you can start walking more, if you start showing up at the gym more, just one thing, just do it, and later start implementing more.
Right.
Next day a little bit more, maybe next week a little bit more. Yeah, but a lot of people just putting too much on their shoulder right away. There's like, I want to go to 5 times a week to the gym. I want to change my diet. I'm cutting the alcohol 100%. I'm not meeting with anybody. And if they fail at one of those, they think this is the failure overall. Yeah. And they just like, it doesn't make sense.
And that fits in nicely with what we're talking about, because, you know, we don't want this to be stressful for people when we're talking about sex and exercise. This is about almost a sex and fitness lifestyle. Somebody else I spoke to, David Manhattan, said exactly the same thing. He's like, there's a stat out there that says 98% of people fail their New Year's resolutions.
Yeah.
Which is staggering, right?
Yeah.
And he said exactly the same thing. He's like, break it down into baby steps, change one thing at a time. And then he broke it down into 4 key areas that he's been advising people. So the first one's definitely around fitness and, you know, more broadly movement.
Yeah.
The second one is around diet and nutrition, of course. The third one that he thinks is dramatically underrated is sleep, which I'm learning from personal experience is doing wonders for me.
It makes a difference. Yeah. Huge.
And the fourth one is definitely around stress. And, you know, I'll give you a link to his website at the end, but he really breaks down each one of those areas really, really well.
Okay, all of them, they are connected.
And can I say sex helps all of those, by the way?
Yes.
Just to insert that there.
Small like research tip. Our body behave in a funky way. So like you guys know, there's a bunch of different chemicals running through our body, through our brain. But our body and brain is still like monkey. You know, we mostly behave on the base of those kind of anxious, you know, behaviors. Yeah. And the needs of our body, of our, you know, structure of movement, structure of feeling. And you have food, you have sex, and you have exercise. And all of those 3, our body feel and see the same way. Right. Yeah. So the similar chemical that are released in our body if we eating and we are satisfied with our food, if we have sex, and if we perform exercises.
So is that the endorphins, or is it the dopamine? Exactly. What chemicals are they?
So endorphin, dopamine, all those like happy drugs, they are released through those you know, tasks. Yeah. And then and that's the reason you need to have a proper balance between all of those. So some people that are addicted to the food, because it's not only chemicals inside of the food, but also the chemicals what they release when they eating this food. Right. Some people get addicted to sex, for example. There's a sex addicts. Yeah. You know, because they chasing this dragon of those, you know, chemicals. Yeah. Or some people get addicted even to the workout. You know.
You can have fitness addicts.
Of course.
So one of the most interesting things I read was an article from The Sun that was talking about women giving up sex and relationships for fitness. Yes. And so during a study, it was from the North Carolina University, they were looking at how different women were changing their entire lifestyle around the idea that I'm so happy with myself that I'm actually starting to forget about sex, that I'm putting sex to the wayside. And then somebody else I spoke to from the CrossFit community said, the athletes who are super competitive are so strung out and their central nervous systems are so blown out that they're just not even wired for sex anymore. They're tired, they're exhausted. And I think this is a big thing that I started to learn as we're researching this, is that overtraining, and again, overtraining's kind of gone out the window. No one talks about it anymore, but it seems to have a really big effect on the central nervous system, hormone imbalance, and kind of just general stress levels, because you're introducing a different type of stress to your body.
Yeah. So you're an addict. What I'm hearing is that you're an addict if you've gotten to a point where you're like working out so much that you're actually compromising the other parts of your life.
Yes, exactly. This is how you define. I'm not an addicts expert, but with people I spoke, it's addiction. It's when the outside of elements of your life start going on the side. They're not important anymore.
Yeah.
And it's like the question is if hitting the rock bottom. That's the point when you're like, okay, I'm really have a problem with in this subject. Doesn't mean I'm an addict, but people can be addicted to some things and for years.
Yeah.
And they don't see it.
Yeah. I mean, in some ways, it's better to be addicted to like working out than cocaine.
Yeah.
I mean, if you had to look at it that way.
Well, that's what they were saying.
I don't know. It's more expensive.
Personal trainers these days, charging a fortune. Actually, I think for about an hour.
my prices are expensive. I'm sorry.
For about an hour's fun, it's about the same price, I think.
Yes.
So let's talk about hormones. So there's, from what I've read, it's really namely testosterone that's playing the biggest role. But the problem that I kept coming up, and I think we mentioned this before we started recording, is that science isn't really sure about things like abstaining from sex. And as you kind of brought up, Muhammad Ali would abstain from sex for 12 weeks before a fight, in the idea that his testosterone levels will build up. But there's never really been anything proven or disproven.
No, it's not. There was not any deep study regarding this subject. What I discovered through the stuff what I was reading and I was talking with the people, it's first of all we need the separate genders. You have females athletes and you have male athletes. You need to separate sports, what kind of they perform, because mentally clearance and also body composition and how they're using their body and their brain on their sport, it's important too. So for example, for the females, it's totally fine. They can have sex before any type of sport when they're doing. The most important, what I was reading and I knew, is the sex needs to be not stressful, because the mindfulness in the situation of the performing the exercise and then performing this sport event, this is the key. If you're outside of the arena in your head because you're thinking about did I give a pleasure to this girl?
Right.
It was fuck, it was the worst sex ever in my life. I was thinking I would kill it, but I only shot once. So for this kind of reason, they said for the male it's not that beneficial, but it's when I was a lot of, for example, soccer players, they talking about it, not a lot, but some of them talking about this subject. But when it's done with your partner, and the partner knows how important the event is for you,
right,
and do this to release the stress from your brain, so you can have the good sleep before the game, and this good sleep to make you your body the best. Because when you have, like you mentioned on the beginning, one of those elements, it's sleep. So you need to have this proper sleep before the big event. And then orgasm just put you this like you have a good orgasm, you just you just follows like a baby. This isn't like the stigma is about it with the females, like, oh, he just follows sleep. Because
and that might be a good thing, right?
Do you fall asleep?
I don't. No.
It's definitely a male thing to fall asleep afterwards. Like
But that's also because a lot of males don't do the multiples, right? So it's just one and done.
Because you're just saying one and good. Already complain.
Already complain. One, seriously, one.
I wish people could see you roll your eyes.
One and good, baby.
So that's kind of on the good side of things, and I think we think about the overtraining side of things, but and again, it's really easy to quick to go to balance, but I think what I'm really interested to hear is, what kind of exercise do you think actually improves your sex life?
My sex life or general?
Both.
Both, yeah.
Yeah.
Both? Okay,
Walk
so
through that
let's start with the general. If you look at this subject regarding performing, can I say performing sex?
Yeah.
Performing
Or doing
sex.
sex.
Yeah,
Doing the sex.
That's
Doing
what
the
I used to
sex.
say. Yeah.
Doing the sex, doing the act
Yeah.
of sex. It's we need to once again separate the genders
Yeah.
because
I'm gonna ask you about that later, but yeah, keep
yes,
going.
you need to separate
Yeah.
the genders because it's of different type of movement we're expecting kind of from different genders. Because sex is a full body workout in some way, and then you want to have the healthiest body to do sex. So what kind of elements that are important when you have sex? Heart.
Yep.
You need to have really strong heart, and the lung. You need to have a proper and strong breathing. So those kind of elements, if you working out, they are building stronger. By proper cardio, proper strength training, you develop stronger heart, and by maximize your VO2, so your breathing capacity, you have a better breath, so you can perform better in the bed. So this is just from the point of view of inside of your body and how you can control the blood flow, because the blood, this is the key to keep, for example, your penis strong, and also important for the female also to bring all the blood flow to lower areas.
Yeah. So it's really cardiovascular, as well as cardiorespiratory.
Yes, exactly, both of them. So this is one element. Second element is the muscle. So in this situation, it's about a torque. So for example, if you have, and you're also flexibility,
Right.
and you don't want to have, for example, cramps in the middle of the action.
Cramps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So in this situation, you have a mix of, exercises and also nutrition.
Yep.
Yeah.
So what about nutrition? Moving on to that.
Nutrition? Of course, if you have the best nutrition, it's you can really enjoy the sex, because it's that those kind of elements like crashing down, even follow sleep can be related to the diet too.
Right. So like some kind of sugar crash or
Exactly. So that's the same time when you receive all of those endorphins inside of your body, and because your insulin level is so sensitive, you will just crash faster.
Right.
Yeah. So you have those like one delivers guys.
Okay, but doesn't it also matter what kind of sex you're having? Because
Yes,
you
of
say
course.
cardiovascular, right? Okay, but if you're like a 5-minute, that's it, guy.
Yeah.
It's not that much cardiovascular that you really need, right?
Yeah, but it's the point is like if you have the guy who is really healthy,
Yeah.
and give you this amazing 5 minutes,
Yeah.
or you have 5 minutes from guy who's not very healthy, it's
Yeah.
still the same time. It's 5 minutes,
Yeah.
but it's not. I don't think so. It's good.
Yeah. Okay. So I have a specific question then.
Please.
In your case, what exercises help you specifically be better in bed?
I can tell from my journey regarding to fitness, and then how this implement in my sex life. So for men, and the same as me, I have different type of pelvis, hips than females. Our adjustment of the hips is different than females, and our openings are always different too.
Yeah.
So you cannot be that much flexible
Yeah.
and mobile if you don't, for example, do proper deep squats.
Right.
So those
Yeah.
kind of exercises like deep squats, like hip thruster, this is what they develop really strong, legs, hips,
Yeah.
opening. So for example, you can perform better, meaning it's, position wise,
Yeah.
how you can, I don't know, you can be more, creative with your positions. For example, in the bed.
For example, what
Yeah.
position would you use?
What's your favorite position?
What
My favorite
would
position?
you use a deep squat in? Okay, come on.
No, for example, if you have doggy style. You have, for example, doggy style.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So female is up front,
Yeah.
man is on the back.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what?
Okay.
I think if
Yes.
I've gone for a run, my hips have actually started to lock up.
Yes.
And generally, when you're on top, you're actually your hips
Yeah.
are cocked.
Yes.
Oh. But I also know the position where I've had guys where they do the doggy style, but then they can actually instead, most guys do the doggy style on their knees, right?
Oh, and you
But
stand.
if you can actually get up and you kind of horseman stance
Yes.
the doggy style, that in a way needs good quad muscles.
Yeah.
And
So imagine the guys
Yeah.
start with the dog position, but he's strong enough to just lift you up.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. No, if they're on top. Guys
They're on
top.
the back.
If
They're on the back.
you
Right,
can kind
right,
of
right.
lift them back up from like under their
Yeah.
arms.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
And
as a
I don't think so a lot of guys can do it if they don't do proper back
No.
exercises and do some deadlifts and rows.
Yeah,
No,
so I was about
that's
to say
true.
it's like a row.
It's
Yeah.
true. And I think as a woman, you like the idea of being manhandled a little bit,
I think there's definitely a security in it where you can
Yeah.
kind of have less inhibitions
Yes.
about it.
Yeah. And if you like things a little rougher, it helps as well if, the guy is strong.
Yeah.
Yeah. Even like, position like it's, some people, like if they have a bigger kitchen, doing some kinky stuff in the kitchen, even like grabbing somebody and then put on the top of the, kitchen. It's for
Yeah.
some guys, they cannot lift
Yeah.
their own partner
It's true.
Yeah.
or just even keep it in the air.
Yeah. You've seen that in porn, they do these like vertical 69s a lot.
Yeah.
Have you seen those?
Yeah, and it's kind of this twirl around.
Exactly.
And I'm never
Yeah.
sure if it's a really strong guy or just the smallest girl they could find.
I think it's a
Smaller.
mix of both.
Or maybe they have like some
Yes, some kind of pulley system.
police
alert.
system. Exactly.
It's a mix of both.
CGI.
But I'm always amazed, right? Like I'm just like, how is this happening? And then I'm thinking, but how does the blood not all just rush to the girl's head? And maybe that's pleasurable. I don't know. It's like doing a headstand while getting your oral sex.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, but
There are worse
you
things.
can only look at those kind of videos because there is
What Sarah's not saying. So Sarah is incredibly fit also, and you were doing some MMA for a while or BJJ.
oh yeah, jiu-jitsu. Yeah.
How did that affect your sex life, and where did that lead for you and you?
I think, honestly, if you know anything about jiu-jitsu, I used to call it the Kama Sutra of martial arts because every single position, it's like related to a sex position. So there'd
if you
be
have a
like,
dirty mind.
come on, they would call things like, so the best position, one of the best positions in jiu-jitsu is mount, right? Okay, and what is mount? It's literally a girl or a guy sitting straddling you.
Were you
on top
fairly
of you and
outnumbered in
sitting
these classes?
on your chest, right? And then there's back mount as well. That's also an amazing position. And full guard, which is like the very first position that you learn.
Is that
it's
legs, like,
all about the legs like wrapped
wrapped around?
around. Exactly. I mean, it's incredibly sexual, and obviously it's Brazilian, right? So it totally makes sense.
Totally makes sense. I know it's some friend of mine, they do this kind of sport, and they told me about it. There is some like thumb hook. You're putting the thumb inside of the ass of the opponent.
I've heard that too,
Yeah.
but I never
Really?
knew if it was legal or not.
Yeah, it's legal. It's totally legal.
But that's because there's no rule against
You can
it. Yeah.
like it's you can
You can
grab.
do anything, can't you?
So you
Okay.
you're putting the thumb in
the
the
thumb
ass.
in the ass.
Yeah, so you can grab the cheek, so you can use the leverage.
Oh. I
Yes,
mean,
you're
I
welcome.
don't think I would mind that, really. You
Like
can
a
thumb hook
mini
me.
fist,
I'll be like, tap, tap, tap.
Mini fisting.
Mini fisting. Cool. So the other thing, and maybe on the negative side, is, and again, I've kind of actually had a personal experience with a few of these, are kind of the things, especially from again, talking about hormonal kind of chemical things that can really impact sex life and performance, and actually more broadly fitness. is to kind of, I want to say, manage these things. I don't really want to say avoid them, to kind of bring that balance in. So, we've talked about first, good exercises, good nutrition, and kind of, again, some of the sports that will kind of allow us to actually do better. And some of the things that kind of came to mind when I was actually looking at, okay, well, what kind of things should you avoid? And again, as soon as I said avoid, I'm like, no, it's about managing these things. Because I think, again, going back to what you said,
Yes.
asking people to stop too many things at once is really hard. The first one is definitely around certain medications. And if you've ever used antidepressants or any kind of anti-anxiety medication, it's the first thing that'll actually go. One of the things that nobody tells you until you're on an SSRI or an antidepressant is that it's almost impossible to come. Like, I mean, you can just have sex for a long time and it can be great, and you just won't come because mentally your body can't dump the right chemicals in there.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know that it also affects libido.
Yeah.
So not just you can't come, but you actually just don't feel like having sex a
And-
lot of
and-
the time. You're happy,
Yeah.
but you don't feel like having sex.
And my advice to anyone is, if you don't like a certain side effect like that, just go straight back to your doctor and they can sort it out. There's so many on the market now. The second thing is definitely, as you kind of mentioned, around alcohol and caffeine. Caffeine and alcohol both have this unusual effect where some people feel like they have a better libido on some of it, but kind of long-term or chronic use can really kind of get in the way of that.
Yes.
And I think there's enough studies at the moment to kind of show the impacts of both those things. So again, I kind of put those things to more manage it, don't overdo either one, and you're generally going to be okay. Too much or too little exercise, I think we've covered that to death. And an interesting one is aggressive porn use.
Yep.
And it's actually now, because pornography, especially kind of internet pornography, has become so mainstream that now they're seeing big kind of growth in in particularly men just going to see people about it, because the addiction becomes so heavy for them that it starts to spin out in what they're doing.
So it can actually result in erectile dysfunction. And just like a loss of interest in your partner, and it really affects like the erotic imagination, right? Because really what you're doing is you're watching a medium where it requires almost like no imagination, and it's gotten to a point where it's a bit like sort of erotic cocaine for the brain. There's such a huge dopamine dump every time you watch like a short clip, and then you move on to the next one and the next one and the next one. And obviously in real life that doesn't really happen.
No.
And over time what happens is that your brain gets used to that. And then it almost like you lose the ability to get turned on in real life, and then it becomes a problem. But that's a whole different episode, honestly, on porn, because I'm sure we could talk about it all day.
No, I think we should definitely.
It's a real epidemic, I think.
And the final point is around kind of emotional imbalance. So again, something that's a little bit overlooked, that if you've got problems with your partner, you've got problems in other parts of your life, the kind of connecting with them on a sexual level is obviously really difficult. And it kind of leads to all kinds of issues where people thinking, it's about them, it's about their performance, or their partners get paranoid that it's about them. And it's just one of those things that starts to impact things like fitness as well. Suddenly all these things that are affecting your sex life are the same things that are going to affect your fitness and lifestyle. And it's that kind of connection between the two that I think we're really trying to get to here, is that the two chemically are so similar from everything I'm reading.
Yes.
I think one of the questions you raised when we we're kind of preparing this is sex an actual form of exercise? Because I think that's something that certainly when I was kind of going through the Google searches, is probably one of the most asked for questions. And definitely something that everyone's writing articles about.
Well,
yes, if this is exercise, by definition, yes, because it's raising your heart and you're doing the movement. So it is. How many calories you burning is a different story.
3.
No, it's like 250 or something.
No, it's about maybe 100.
Really?
Yes.
Okay, but
Yeah, I don't know.
I think it depends on the type of sex again.
Maybe
that you're
inside
having,
of a sauna,
right?
will be more.
Okay. Depends on the type of sex and the location.
Yes,
and
exactly.
how long you go for and how
Yes.
much work you're doing, right? I mean, if you're having like super zen sex,
Because it's really, your heart doesn't go so much. It's only go up in the spikes, and that's all. And just a little bit. because there is a difference between the exercise. Okay, this is exercise, but this is not a workout.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
nobody's gonna lose weight from having sex like 3 times a day.
If they have a proper nutrition, yes.
But yeah, like they may not be making big cardiovascular gains.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. They may not build some amazing six packs, but it's it's can it's we going to this kind of areas like, okay, you're sweating out, you're making some moves. So if this is exercise, yes, it is exercise. If this is workout, no, it's not. No, it's not.
Yeah.
We need to separate this stuff.
Right,
like
right.
we mentioned before, we need to separate the, it's kind of like if you eating somebody's pussies, if this is nutrition.
Oh, that's the best.
Yeah. So we can start blending those stuff, but it's
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
it's not.
Yeah.
They're separate.
Okay, so what is the right nutrition if in terms
A lot of pussy.
okay, if it's not pussy juice, what is,
I didn't say that.
okay, so alongside your shot of pussy juice, are there sort of like supplements or, I mean, what would you take nutritionally, or what kind of food would you eat? What kind of supplements would you have if you want
So
it to be better?
there is a list, for example, of type of food. They work as a stimulants
Right.
for in this situation, like I mentioned before, for the blood flow, because the blood flow is the most important in sex. So you want to have, they want to have this strong heart. You want to breathe a lot. You want to have this
Yeah.
vascular movement of your blood through the body, so you not get cramps in your feet, for example, because everything in your, for example, in your hands, in your upper body, in your chest, in your
Yeah.
in your
Yeah.
stomach,
Yeah.
So you have a range of foods, all type of green vegetables. They are the best. Steaks,
Yeah.
those kind of elements with a lot of vitamins.
Okay.
B. And later we go into the areas of the foods who, for example, changing the smell and taste of the person.
That's
also.
right.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
talked about that.
This comes up a lot, actually.
It does. It does. And so, okay, what's your take? What makes
It's
you...
personal preferences.
Yeah.
Personal
that's fair.
preferences.
Right, I see.
Yeah.
So are you a sweet person or a savory
Yeah.
person?
Exactly, because it's like, somebody,
juice.
somebody has the same diet, different partner, and the different partner will say this person, smell different
Yeah.
and all taste different,
Yeah.
and somebody was like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everything
They
was,
love it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Because Christina, who we had on last week, or whenever this will come out, those weeks
Yeah.
make sense.
Yeah.
She was a big advocate of coconut water for her
Yeah.
partners.
Coconut water and pineapple juice.
Yes.
But vegetable juice and vegetable shakes in general, I thought.
Yeah.
That improves the taste?
Yeah.
Really?
So I want to address something that you brought up earlier, because you kept saying you need to separate the sexes, right? So
Sometimes.
sometimes, but you said that like I think once or twice when I asked the question.
Yes.
So I want to ask specifically for women, right? What exercises can women do to improve their sexual performance?
Okay.
Yeah.
Like any type of approach, it's you need to check in which place this person is.
Okay.
So what is how strong is, how flexible, how mobile this
Yeah.
person is.
Yeah.
So if you put this in the range of, for example, 0 to 10, when then 0 it's somebody it's really doesn't really need to help, and let's do reverse. 0 it's bad, and 10 is great.
Okay.
So you need to improve those areas. So for example, if you are really really weak, and for example you have problems even handle your own body,
Yeah.
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 you need to improve those kind of elements. If
Okay.
you're, for example, out of breath,
Yeah.
you need to improve those elements by
Right.
building
Yeah.
vascular stuff.
Yeah.
If for example you are not flexible, not mobile,
Yeah.
you need to improve those, and exercise and workouts will change those kind of elements in your
Okay.
body. And later we're going deeper to, for example, visually, if you want to change something about yourself.
Right.
Yeah.
Most people I'm talking, females, they want to work on their lower body mostly.
Yeah.
Because they have already small upper body,
Yeah.
You know, so, and then the lower body too. So they improving the lower body,
But don't
the
they wanna-
ratio
Don't
will
they
be
want to
better.
work on their boobs as well? Don't
I
they want
don't know.
Boobs,
like
they
perkier
they can go to
boobs?
the doctor and they just they can make the boobs bigger.
I have seen like so many more Instagram posts and workouts, just girls trying to get a bigger butt.
Yeah,
just,
only.
Yeah, just, you know, everything from like really big squat ranges, you know, 12 to 16, getting some weight behind there, then stacking on with like good mornings.
Yeah.
And like, it's just this obsession. And I don't know if I'm more surprised that that's become the obsession.
Yeah.
Or that people are so willing to like put on these videos
Yeah.
of them bending over in front of their iPhone for 30, 40 reps for everyone to see.
Yeah.
But that's the level of dedication that I've seen like these different women having to their lower bodies.
Yeah.
And because I agree, like, you know, I think, and maybe that's us showing our age, but these are much younger women. And this is kind of this what I'm seeing from, you know, people kind of our age who have been training versus kind of really young, kind of like 18 to 24. Their focus is so much more on kind of their butt and kind of their strength far more than, you know, kind of, what typically you would think, oh, yeah, isn't it about your
Chest
boobs and,
or pecs,
or
I
just
don't
getting a
know.
tiny
But you know
waist?
what's interesting? A lot of them, they enter the fitness world with this kind of approach.
Yeah.
I want to just change the one thing or two things visually in my body. But later when they start seeing outside benefits, what's going on with them, like for example, their moods, it's better. They have the structure of their lifestyle is changing because they need to know they need to shop at the gym. They cannot hang it out at the bar. They start going like, oh yeah, there's a bigger picture with this. They still continues like, oh, I want to have a bigger butt, but it's they're like, okay, there's a little bit more behind that. But you are right. It's maybe Instagram. It's kind of porn for some girls.
Yeah. Maybe they follow Kim Kardashian a lot. I don't know.
It's horrible example because it's all fake. She
That
doesn't
is fake, right?
She
Yeah.
doesn't do zero squats.
But it is a fake butt or
It's
something.
fake.
Like, it looks weird.
She has
No.
butt implants?
I don't know.
100%.
Yeah.
$1,000,000%.
Yeah, okay.
Just always
But
look at
she's
the ratio.
quite a curvy girl, though. I mean, if you look at her.
She looks like an ice cream sundae.
No, she looked like alien. She looked horrible. She looked sick. She looked like tumor. She looked like a tumor on their body.
Okay.
She looks sick.
Okay.
The point is like, if you want to deliver, if you want to, build this kind of glutes.
Yeah.
Glutes is the biggest muscle for female.
Yeah.
You need
For a beautiful bum.
Yeah.
Right. That's
Right,
the
right.
glutes.
Not
Yes.
actually
Yeah.
the biggest.
Glutes, yeah.
you need to build legs.
Yeah.
You cannot have skinny legs and big butt. Doesn't work like that.
Yeah.
You
Really?
cannot. It's so difficult to even do this.
Okay.
So is that because the size you get in your butt actually comes from like the back of your hamstring to start with?
No, because when you want to build a big butt, you're doing exercises so your legs will grow automatically.
Right.
Yeah.
So you can't go
You
heavier on your
no.
glutes
you
until
can't
you've got
build
legs.
one spot. Like you can't
Yeah.
isolate literally.
It's kind of like
just
if you want to
one
build a
body
big
part.
chest
Yeah.
and your arms will stay skinny still. It's impossible.
Look at my little arms.
No, your arms are not small. It's fine.
Let's talk about the pelvic floor because this is something that I think
Your personal passion.
is I think it's
Yeah.
core to fitness as well,
Yes.
right? I mean, you've got especially for women, you've got all Pilates is based on building up the pelvic floor, and we've talked about it actually several times in several episodes.
It's mixed, yeah.
On how, especially if you're doing a lot of pelvic floor exercises and if you have strong pelvic floor. So our last episode that we recorded, which was on squirting and female ejaculation, that helps with the squirting because you're able to bear down, right? And squeeze, and that's required for squirting. But also I think just in general, you get sort of healthier pelvic floor, gives you a tighter fit, it gives you stronger orgasms because all orgasms...
And you're working on Kegels.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. So do you want to say a little bit about how people can just strengthen their pelvic floor with Kegels?
Yes. So
What's the proper way to do a Kegel?
Kegels?
Yeah.
So you have a two approach.
So I don't know what this is.
What?
Okay.
Should I know what this is?
You should.
Yes, you're
You
supposed
should.
to
They're-
train your Kegels
Have we
too.
done
They're
Kegels?
good for men
Man,
too.
they have to.
They're good
It's-
for men too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that stuff.
Okay.
And it's really beneficial for the prostate, also to avoid,
Yeah.
prostate. So you have a two approach. You can do all day long if you want. You can squeeze. your kind of area between if you're talking about a man, between the penis and then what
I'm gonna
As
say
chicks.
it wrong.
The perineum.
Perineum.
Is it
yes,
like?
perineum.
Yeah, that's
Yes.
the bit they call it the taint.
Yes.
Because
Your
it's
gooch.
the bit that's not the balls and the bit that's not the ass.
Yes.
Right.
Mhm.
Not the asshole, rather. It's
Yes.
the taint.
So it's
Well,
kind of
or
like you're
perineum.
trying.
Yeah,
They
perineum.
say you're trying to like keep your pee. Like if you want to this feeling of having a pee to
Yep.
do. Yeah,
Doing
you're
it
trying
now.
to kind of you want to kind of stop it.
Sure.
So you kind of bringing your ass cheeks, glutes inside, and you bring your stomach inside too. So it's kind of like a U movement.
Yeah.
So this is about a man, and then
A
but
U
if,
movement. Can you
yeah.
explain that? What does
so
that
you
mean?
you
Like-
bringing you bringing your hips to the front, your muscle tissues going to the front.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. So
okay.
those kind of exercises like hip thrusters, like deadlifts, like squats, they working on this area because,
Yeah.
for example, for the squats, if you're on the top, this is when you be engaged the mostly.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. That squeeze
Mhm.
at the top.
Yeah.
Yeah, the squeezing the
yeah.
top.
Yep. My trainers are always like,
Yeah.
squeeze your pelvic floor every
Yes.
time. They remind you all the time when you're doing
Yes.
the squats and the deadlifts. Yeah.
So-
Exactly.
So I got a chance to speak to our other Polish guest, the lovely Zosia. And she wrote me a little email, and it was so helpful. I learned a lot. So
Yeah.
I'll give you the overview. Zosia says that it's about having an awareness where your pelvic floor is first,
Yeah.
because I think that's really not well known.
Yes.
Yep.
And just knowing that, especially for women, she says that'll greatly improve your sensation for sex.
Yeah.
She says, as a trainer, I teach my clients to know how to contract the pelvic floor, and most importantly, how to strengthen it. A lot of women think you only need this awareness only after babies, but usually it's too late then, which is one of the things she
You
brought
need
up.
to know before
Well
the babies
before.
even.
Yeah. Yeah.
Before the babies, because the delivery of the baby, this is the really really important. And like for example, the clients what I had, the pregnant clients,
Yeah.
when I was preparing for the delivery, this is what we work a lot
Yep.
on it. And
Yeah.
you need to do this through all the trimesters.
Yep. Yeah. And I think just for people who don't know or don't remember who Zosh is,
Oh, yeah.
she was our guest on, was it episode 4?
4? Yeah.
I'm thinking it's episode 4. She's a Pilates instructor as well as a fitness personality, but she came on our Truth About Sex After Kids. So if you're really interested on more details on pelvic floor exercises, she also talks about it there.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've heard as well, and you guys gonna tell me whether this is true. You can, for men to also work the pelvic floor, it helps them to last longer.
Yes, correct.
Yes.
Mhm.
Really?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Why is
Because-
nobody telling me these things?
That's
Thank-
why we do this podcast for you.
For me.
Yeah.
Well, actually, Zosh does talk about how men need to strengthen it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Said for men, the pelvic floor isn't being able to lift an erect penis, the towel over the shoulder trick, but by using those muscles, you will help to generally control those areas during sex as you age.
Mm-hmm.
What is the towel over the shoulder trick?
It's something her husband says to me many, many times. But it's about using those muscles around the penis area.
Mm-hmm.
So,
So is this the one where you just drape the towel over your penis and then you just try to like
yeah.
throw it over the shoulder?
Yes. Or just be
You,
able to
can you
hold it.
actually? It can actually throw over the
Well,
shoulder?
her husband tells me he can, but I'm not sure if I believe him.
Okay.
The point is about the size of the towel. It's not about the size of the penis, size of the towel.
I ought to start with a tiny face cloth. See someone getting like those extra large beach towels.
Doesn't work for me. I don't know why. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. Yeah, it's for guys. It's like yeah, you can stay longer. You can like if you have this feeling of yeah, this is the time to
Yeah.
come, you can control this better.
Yeah, yeah.
So-
By squeezing on the pelvic floor.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And that's
Yeah.
actually one of the things that when we talk about masturbation practice as well, right? It's for guys who last longer, a lot of the times, like one of the things we would recommend is learning how to understand your arousal process, but also as you're getting close, is to squeeze down on the pelvic floor and almost like edge yourself, bring yourself back down to a state where you're not like about to come, and then work yourself back up again, and you kind of keep doing it over and over again.
Mentally.
Yeah.
It's a lot of mental game.
Correct.
And this is when the fitness comes too. Because trust me, if you doing heavy weights, mental game, this is the key. There is a place at the gym when, like, I'm getting this from females and from guys too. This is the place when people really can relax, and then relaxation and be far away from the stress can really, really improve them sex performance.
Well, and especially in the gym, like, it's amazing how much being relaxed can help you do some of your heaviest lifts. And it's kind of that, it sounds contradictory, but in fact, it's the thing that's going to allow maximum blood flow, maximum focus, and maximum mobility, all of which are going to, be core to be, pulling you.
And this is what you're expecting with the good sex. You're expecting this good focus. Good mobility, and the best lift.
True, but still staying relaxed.
Still relaxed.
Exactly. I mean, it's actually interesting that you say that, because I see so many guys in the gym. When they're lifting heavy weights, they do not look relaxed. They look like they're freaking about to burst a blood vessel.
Tell me about your partner's, face when they come.
That's true. Also,
It's kind of the same.
Yes.
looks familiar. Now
I've seen you.
made the connection.
Okay, well, I think actually there's something you've written down in our show notes, and not to show you too much of what the sausage is made, but you've mentioned here, Sarah, something about a coregasm.
Yeah, I read about this. I've never had one. But
someone needs to tell me what this is.
Well, it's an orgasm that is induced by your core muscles. I'm sure it's related to the pelvic floor.
Right.
Yes, it's related to it. Yeah.
But, so it's a thing, supposedly.
Yes. No, not supposedly. It's for 100%.
Like when you're doing like crunches or something.
So it's the most with the what females release is the one type of exercise. It's leg raises.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's the you have your arms elevated, and you've hanging on your arms, and you're doing the leg raises.
Yeah.
So you're extending your pelvic to the back, and later you bring your knees to your chest.
Okay.
Yeah. So in this form of exercise, most females experience this kind of movement.
Oh my goodness.
They experience in different. They experience anywhere.
Yeah.
They experience with the squats. They experience with the deadlift, with any type of exercises, because you have this blood flow to this area, and you have two types of. Some of them they experience full orgasm at the gym.
Yeah, that would be interesting.
Yeah.
At the gym.
PR, but you don't have any weights on you. Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
Personal record. And some of them. They experience the feeling when you're getting before orgasm. Yeah.
So just like arousal, really.
Arousal,
yeah. You probably start like lubricating.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Are you gonna you've got to go try
Well,
this
I'm gonna
tomorrow.
be training. Yeah. My leg raises, my squats.
Because when you started saying that, I'm like, we do leg raises every time I see it. I'm like, I've never felt that good by it. Okay, so we have a section in this show which you would not have heard on the couple episodes you've left.
Okay, yeah.
This is called Quickie But a Goodie. And I'm going to ask you a series of questions, and you've only got about a couple of seconds to answer.
Yeah, that's the rule.
If you really don't have an answer, it's fine. But just whatever comes to mind generally works the best.
Okay.
So Sarah hasn't seen these.
Yeah.
You haven't seen these. I'm the only one who hasn't seen them. So I'm going to go.
I get to play for the first time
Yeah.
because all the past episodes, like, I'm usually coming out with the questions a lot of the time.
Yeah, definitely.
So poor
All
Jai
the time.
gets put on the spot all the time.
Okay.
It's fun. It's fun.
This is my turn.
Yay. Okay.
Have you ever had sex in the gym?
Yes.
No. Really?
Where in the gym?
So sweaty.
Where physically?
Yeah, like on
No, for floor areas. Yeah.
I'll never-
After the workout or before the workout?
Different. Sometimes it was before or after.
Oh, so several times
Yeah,
then.
several times, yeah. Different gyms. Changing rooms.
Yeah.
This is the advantage of being a fitness
Yeah.
in fitness.
You just-
Yeah.
Oh, I never was at work. No, it was never in the place when I was working.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So there was never. I never mix pleasure with work. I mean, its meaning is like I don't.
We know what you mean.
Yeah.
yeah, we know what you mean. Okay, cool.
Exactly.
Yeah.
What is your favorite? Oh, sorry. Have you ever put training over sex?
Training,
Like
which
training
meaning-
for, say, the IFBB or something like that?
if meaning like I postponed.
Yeah.
Yes,
So?
yes.
No. It's gonna be so boring. So if I know like somebody's coming over, I'm like, okay, skip the gym. It's fine.
Oh, hence all your questions around again.
Yeah.
This one's just a bit of a fitness question. What's your favorite cheat meal?
Cheap meal. Just good burgers.
I'm about to say, I see you
Yeah.
eat a lot of burgers.
Yeah, good burgers.
Chocolate.
Really?
Yeah.
Mine's definitely burritos.
Mm.
But you,
But I see this as a rewarding meals. I never. I
Yeah,
don't like
yeah,
this
yeah.
called
okay,
cheat meal.
that's
Okay.
the politically
Yeah,
correct
yeah.
answer.
You
I
know
got
what we're
it,
really
I got
asking.
it. Yeah,
what do you,
I know.
what do you just love to put in your mouth?
With the side salad.
Which celebrity's body is your favorite?
Oh, okay.
Oh, boo.
It's gonna have to be like an MMA fighter,
Sure.
like someone like Misha Tate.
Oh.
Yeah, sort of feminine but strong, like you know, and really well toned. I like that.
For me, I don't know. I cannot call it right now. Anybody? I don't know why.
No, mine's definitely Daniel Craig. Him in peak bomb performance, ideal. Maybe it's because he's a bit of a short guy.
Is this the one where he like walked out of the sea and all the
Yes.
women like started fainting?
Yes.
Exactly.
You know, it sounds like you know the scene.
But
well.
you know what's the most interesting?
Yeah.
He was the first born who seriously like I'm hitting the gym.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
He
yeah.
looked like he could actually kick ass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's because
exactly.
in the Brosnan, like if you go back and watch Goldeneye and he takes his shirt off, you're like,
Right.
okay, dad. Okay, dad.
Yeah.
Okay, next question. Favorite exercise for sexual performance improvement?
And squats.
Yeah, I would go with squats as well.
Mine's definitely hip thrusters to the point where actually I shouldn't say it was in class, but it was in class that when I was with you. That everyone got on their back and started doing it. I'm like, I got so distracted that I had to look at like
Yeah.
one of my mates just to take my mind off everything else.
I can't
But-
see you doing a hip thruster for some reason. It just seems, I don't know. It seems funny. But I mean, do you do the little, like, not just the hip thrusters, do you actually do the little pulses as well?
I don't pulse.
No.
I can't say I don't think I've ever pulsed.
You just need the squeeze on the top.
Yeah.
But hey, but those pulses, they kill you, man. Like,
Yeah.
I can do the hip thrusters, but then they make you pulse for like 20 seconds, and I'm like, no more
Yeah.
pulses.
No, it's too long.
Yeah,
Pause it for
that's
20
tough.
seconds, yeah. It's
Yeah.
Too much pressure on the spine.
Okay.
Okay, and final question, another fitness question. If you could train with anyone in the world, who would you train with?
Oh, wow.
Steve Cook.
Oh, actually, I've seen him, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to say like Muhammad Ali.
I'm going to be really boring and say Conor McGregor. I would just love to
It's
do a
not
session.
boring.
No, but
Why
I mean,
is that boring?
it just feels cliche because
No,
everyone's
it's
talking about
not
it. But
at all.
I would
Yeah.
just love to be, and I know the clips he releases, but I'm like, I reckon there's more going on there. Like, you know,
He's amazing.
Yeah, and actually, regardless of what you think of his personality,
I like it.
you
We
like
don't
his
know his-
personality?
we don't know his
but
personality.
whatever, his show personality,
Yeah,
right? Like,
yeah.
I mean, the way he trains is meant to be very elite and very focused on very elite movement, and it's
Yeah.
very efficient. Like that's what he's known for, right?
Well, he's not a big guy, and he's so fit that you would just have to
Yeah.
be maximizing every minute.
Yeah.
And he needs to be good in bad because we've this the same woman for how many years?
Yeah, that's a
yeah.
really nice. Every time they bring that story up, it is a
That's
really nice
It's a
story.
cute
Just had a
story.
kid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cute.
Oh, how sweet everything just got. Okay. So Mac, what's kind of your final word on sex and fitness?
if you want to have a good sex, you need to do good fitness.
Love it. Miss Tang?
I think you should approach your sex life in the same way that you approach your fitness, you know, like what you said earlier. Think about making those small changes little by little, and it's the same thing with your sex life as well. Like, I mean, you know, don't think that, okay, now I want to have like 100 orgasms overnight, but think about, you know, what are like some of the little things that you can work on as well.
Yeah.
It's kind of like with all these things, I think practice makes perfect, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think it's about being okay with if it doesn't work the first time, that's okay as well.
Oh, and it's not work. Like,
No.
that's the thing, right?
work.
It's the
It's
same
not
thing with fitness. Like, if people are like, it's like same thing with sex life. Don't think of it as work, because
No,
then
it's not.
it just kills it.
It's always
Right?
pleasure.
Yeah.
Look as a pleasure.
Exactly. That's
You
what
know.
I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You wanna have a life, your schedule. You wanna build your life. That's the reason I always, in some ways, working for myself, because I wanna manage my own schedule.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's that's the problem. What I see with people, they are afraid of to manage their own schedule. And it's, you know, they're afraid of to go to the gym because it's a workout, I need to do this.
Yeah.
But they need to see in the bigger picture. You know, they don't do this only for themselves, they're doing this for themselves, but also they're doing this for their partner.
Yeah.
That the reason, you know, if you can work out with your partner, you know what they say, it's like the couple who work out together, they stay together.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
there's a
That's
truth behind that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think, you know, my personal conclusion is that sex and fitness, they're not binary systems. It's not on one day and off the next. It's a spectrum. And I think both sex and fitness are complex in the sense that it's chemical, it's hormonal, it's lifestyle, it's exercise, it's emotional. It's, you know, I think people bang out, you know, nutrition, fitness, and lifestyle too quickly, but going into those things is much deeper. And I think, like everything, it's about removing this goal-oriented form.
Yeah.
You know, like fitness is a classic example. It's got to be around, you know, baby step changes that grow into significant lifestyle change.
Well, same thing with orgasms, right?
Yeah.
That's what we talked about on that other episode. Don't necessarily just aim for the orgasm, just aim to have pleasure, right? And sometimes that is an end to itself.
And I think, you know, looking at not only if you've have left the gym, probably need to make a comeback, or even if you're thinking about starting and going, and I think a lot of people think it's too late to start going, and certainly a lot of people we
never
work with
too late.
Yeah.
And I think just, you know, if you're even thinking that about your sex life and thinking it'll never get better, or that's just not who I am, or I've let things slip with my partner or my relationship, it's never too late to make a comeback. It's never too late to start.
Agree.
And the interplay between sex and fitness is well beyond the physical.
Yeah.
So where can people find you if they want to talk to you?
If somebody wants to find me, just type in the Google search, on any type of search, just MacFit, MACKFITT, and you will find me. MacFit, that's all what you need.
Awesome.
So anywhere.
Awesome. Yeah. Okay, so and if you've tried any of the things that we've talked about today, we want to hear from you, right? So if you've done loads of hip thrusters, tell us if you've actually started working out your pelvic floor and started having better orgasms, because we would love to get that kind of feedback, because you know how we like to get better in bed, and we want you to get better in bed too. And so do Mac and Jai.
Thank you so much, Mac. It's been really fun.
Thank you so much, guys.